Today, I want to get into what is believed to be Jung Kook in the media and talking to reporters about enlisting. I want to get into people believing when Jung Kook will enlist and why this is being talked about. And then I want to get into Jin welcoming Jung Kook to the military. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave. Decide hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Go grab your dumpling, a day spring mug merch, and let's go. Jung Kook was recently on a live stream and I think everyone freaked out. If you're not aware, every time the BTS boys do something really amazing or big, they end up doing a live stream. So after the Grammys, after a big concert, anything like that. For Jung Kook, when he did the stream, he had just finished the Global Citizens Festival. This is a big event for charity and it's a very anticipated event. Given he was headlining it, it was definitely a big deal, and the fact that he, among other celebrities, were included in the lineup and included with much older bands shows that Jung Kook will go down in history similar to those acts. It also reaches a much different audience that probably didn't listen to him but are maybe now a big fan of his. Jung Kook does these streams to basically thank everyone for their support, as he obviously would not even be able to go do these things or even be considered as a headliner for these things if it wasn't for the support of fans. The way these things work is these shows and events will often get a ton of inquiries from artists' PR team that want to be a part of the event. The event either picks people they know and like, or they might take a risk and pick someone they have never picked before but has a huge audience and is breaking records. So because of the support armies give, the event would essentially pick Jung Kook, so he has to thank everyone. Jung Kook went on, and not too long after did Jin join the stream and started to write comments. When another BTS member or another Weverse member joins the stream, their comments become a priority and it shows up really bold and big for the artist to see. Jin wrote hello. He also wrote to Jung Kook to stop touching his hair, and then also wrote things like asking Jung Kook to reach out to him because he talks to J-Hope a lot and wishes to talk to Jung Kook as well. It's funny to think that Jin is likely in his bunker or maybe has the weekend off and is just relaxing while watching the stream. Jung Kook said that he will come back to be with Jin and they will all go on vacation together. Of course, naturally, Jung Kook has talked about not liking to be on his phone, so it's no wonder Jin may have a hard time reaching him. Jin also left a very shocking message that armies did not really love. Jin said that Jung Kook will be joining their party very soon, talking about obviously the Jin and J-Hope and Suga party very soon. And this is definitely true. People wondered if Jin knows anything that maybe the rest of us don't, but I don't think Jin knows exactly when Jung Kook will enlist. I don't think anyone in the government would know when that would be. Currently, Jung Kook has deferment on, which means he won't have to enlist until he is 30. But he actually doesn't even really need that on because he doesn't have to enlist until he's 28 and he is still far from that. But no, since he has that deferment going and he is still much younger, no one really has any idea when exactly he would be enlisting. However, I think this is pretty much Jin's way of welcoming Jung Kook to the military right now. And of course, everyone got super emotional over this idea because this puts this idea that Jung Kook is going to be going to the military very soon. And people don't like that. But going back, Jung Kook was recently invited to perform at the Global Citizens Festival, and this was a big deal, as I mentioned earlier. He spoke with a lot of press and news reporters, and the reporters showed Jung Kook and his new hairstyle. The hairstyle was shorter, much shorter, and from the side we can even see a shave. So this is a very nice look for Jung Kook, and many people on Twitter or wherever were talking about this idea that they prefer Jung Kook with shorter hair, so now he has that. Others were freaking out over this idea that Jung Kook has shorter hair, and not just in a, oh, he looks so handsome, I'm going to die way, but the fact that Jung Kook has talked about what will happen when he decides to shorten his hair. Jung Kook, during a previous live stream, referred to a term that he made up called hair lighting, where this is like gaslighting, but it's over hair. So he will cut his hair little by little, and then one day when he shaves it, it will just seem very normal, and then we'd all be used to the shaved hair and think it looks good, and then he'll enlist. So of course, with the news coverage and people at Global Citizens interviewing him, we are seeing that his hair is much shorter. And does this mean that he will be enlisting right now or very soon? I don't know. There's also been other photos where we are really able to see his hair much shorter. So Jung Kook is really pushing this new hairstyle and wants everyone to see it. He was recently at a red carpet for SiriusXM. Now, I don't know if this was because SiriusXM was sponsoring Global Citizens or if this was another event, because they came out at the same time, but we got some Jung Kook photos, so nothing else matters. But he got some Getty image photos and we got to see him really up close and take a really good look at that new hair. We also got to see literally his pores in the Getty photo, so that that was cool. And by the way, if you see a Getty image, you can buy those photos. They cost like hundreds depending on the photographer. But I'm very unsure why anyone would buy them, because these are red carpet photos. They're rarely photos that are even artistic that you may want. It's not like a Vogue cover shoot where you're like, oh wow, that's beautiful. It's literally a photo with a brand backdrop. So I don't know how well they sell, but if you want them, you can Google them and figure out how to get them. With all these coverage of hair and possible topics of enlistment, it seems like Jungkook is not really scared over the idea of enlistment. It seems to be something that he is at peace about and is definitely not scared to go and do. I think he would even look forward to the idea of doing something very different and new, and I think since he is very buff lately and is very strong, the military won't really be an issue for him at all. He can definitely do it. Now, Jungkook definitely still has an album going on, and he has to do that very soon. Some people were saying it's going to be right after he finishes his album, like within the week, but that I don't think is likely. The idea of enlisting is only going to come after the album drops, and I actually have a big feeling that he would choose to do a bit of a world tour before he goes. I'll talk about this a bit more later, but I can totally see him wanting to do that, and the fact that songs might be in English will definitely allow him to perform in more places. Now, the conversation of how long it will be after Jungkook drops his album, will he enlist, is definitely more so up for speculation, but not wild speculation, as the speculations make a lot of sense. If Jungkook wants to make sure he makes it back by the end of 2025, he definitely will have to enlist by the middle of 2024, meaning at the latest he can go is June. And I believe he may wait until then. People freak out over the enlistment, but as we can see, the boys have plenty of time before they all have to go, and I think they will use their time wisely. I think RM will have an album out by then, and some of the other members like Jimin might have something as well. The boys can release something and release during when they enlist, and by the time they release one or two things, Jin will be back, and he hasn't even released an album yet. So he will likely have an album out and promote it, and then J-Hope will be back. We honestly won't even notice that the boys have been gone for really very long. There could possibly just be a few months in between where we might be like, where are they? And the other times they're back. I also have a feeling we won't be missing a Jungkook even if he does decide to enlist right after the album drops, and it doesn't do much promotion because he will have things out for us. And also, if his music does end up being managed by Scooter Braun or is mostly English, those songs will be on American radio and collecting spins for a really long time. So we literally constantly hear him on rotation and in the airways for as long as he is gone. Now, one of the main reasons I believe he will not be enlisting right away and right after the album drops is because I believe he will do that world tour. Now, why do I think that? Jungkook, as of recording, has not claimed that he will do a world tour, but there's a lot of speculation that says that he will. Jungkook has performed 7 all over the world recently. He's flown to the US to perform it. He's done it in Korea, and he's obviously been flying all over. If his album is anything as popular as 7 is, it would make no sense for him not to try to promote that all over the world, and if there is a big demand for his music in various parts of the world. It makes no sense why HYBE and Scooter Braun are not going to encourage him to do a full concert in those areas. And if you keep adding on concerts, sooner or later, it's not just one-off shows, but it's a full-blown world tour. News sites and reporters have reported on the same thing to say that since Jungkook headlined for global citizens and probably sees the people that show up, it wouldn't be smart to not do at least a show in New York, meaning if he does go through with such a tour or whatever, he may end up enlisting months after the album drops, and definitely not right away. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, just love the comment right here. Love you, bye.